This week's Parsha is Parshas Yisro. Yisro, Moshe Rabbeinu's father-in-law. The Parsha starts off, Vayishma Yisro, and Yisro heard. Now who is Yisro? The Pasuk says, Kohen Midyan. It's like a prince, a leader in Midyan. We'll explain in a minute what that is. Chaysen Moshe, the father-in-law of Moshe, Eis Kol Asher Asa Alekim LaMoshe LeYisrael Amay. Everything that Hashem did for Moshe and the Jewish people, Ki Haitzi Hashem as Yisrael Mitzrayim, that Hashem took the Jewish people out of Egypt. Rashi, who's here to help us understand Pshutei Shel Mikra, Rashi says, Vayishma Yisro, it says, and Yisro heard. What did he hear? Was it a particular event that he heard? So Rashi says, yeah, Mashmu Shama Uba. What announcement, what idea, what wording did he hear that made him join the Yidden in the desert? Kriyas Yamsuf, he heard about the splitting of the sea, Umilchemes Amalek, and he heard about the war with Amalek. Let's take a moment here. This is very soon after the Yidden left Mitzrayim. And the Pasuk says, Vayishma Yisro, and Yisro heard. What does Rashi list? What was it that Yisro heard? He heard the splitting of the sea, and he heard about the war with Amalek. Two questions on that. One of them is, why doesn't he say that he heard about the exodus of Egypt? It said no slave ever was able to escape from Egypt. And over here, 600,000 people walked out of Egypt. That wasn't a trigger for him to say, I need to join the Yidden in the desert. It doesn't say he heard about the plagues. It doesn't say he heard about Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's very specific. He heard about the splitting of the sea and the war with Amalek. On the war with Amalek, this question is different. Why doesn't it say, and he heard about the victory over Amalek? It says no, he heard about the war of Amalek. So to understand this, we have to quote another idea from the Zohar. The Zohar says the following, that until Yisro joined the Jewish people and praised Hashem, the Torah was not able to be given to the Jewish people. Only after Yisro came and he said, Baruch Hashem, he acknowledged the presence of Hashem, the greatness of Hashem, then everybody was able to receive the Torah. The question is, Yisro, Moshe was there, Aaron was there, 600,000 other people were there. And none of them were able to bring about the point of Matan Torah. We had to wait for Yisro to come. These two explanations will tie together this idea. Yisro, we said, the Pasuk says that he was a prince in Midyan. There's two explanations. One of them is that he had a very high stature, some high government job. The other explanation is that he was actually a person who served Avodah Zarah. He served foreign gods. So the question is, if he served foreign gods, why are you telling me that this is who he is when he's coming to join the Jewish people? Doesn't it seem like a derogatory, negative description of Yisro? Explains the Rebbe that no, quite the opposite. The reason the Zohar says that the Yidden were not able to receive the Torah until Yisro came is because before the Torah was given, there was a decree. And the decree was, Hashamayim shamayim la'Hashem. Godly things remain in the heaven. V'ha'aretz nasan livnei adam. Worldly things, that's for people. There was a separation. Ruchnius, spirituality, godliness stayed here, and materialism and worldly ideas stayed here. Comes Matan Torah, and Hashem says, the Pasuk tells us, Vayered Hashem al Har Sinai. Hashem descends onto Har Sinai. Hashem comes down here, gives us the Torah, and now that we have the Torah, all of a sudden we have 613 mitzvahs that allow the loftiest ideas of Hashem to permeate the most material things in this world. Now it took a little bit of an introduction to bring about Matan Torah. It didn't happen just spontaneously. What was the event that introduced this idea of combining hidden things and revealed things, godly things and worldly things? That event was Kriyas Yamsuf. By Kriyas Yamsuf we witnessed a splitting of the sea. By Kriyas Yamsuf we witnessed revealing something that's normally concealed. You see, that's a prelude to Matan Torah. Now, the reason why the Torah could not be given until Yisro came is because in order to prepare the world for Matan Torah, for receiving of the Torah, we had to bring extremes. Yisro, a person who served foreign gods, a Yisro, a person who was involved in other places, for him to come to the Midbar, that was the introduction, that was the last piece necessary for Matan Torah. Somebody that delved into areas that were low in terms of distant from Hashem, and he comes. Now we're able to bring about that bridge that the giving of the Torah is going to make possible for each one of us. In the beginning, I quoted the Rashi that says, Vayishma Yisro, and Yisro heard. And the question Rashi asks is, Mashmu Hashama Uba, what did he hear about that made him join the Yidden in the desert? And I asked, the commentaries on Rashi ask, why doesn't he mention Kriyas Yamsuf? He mentions just the splitting of the sea. Why doesn't he mention Yitzias Mitzrayim? He mentions just the splitting of the sea and the war with Amalek, not the victory of Amalek. And the explanation is like this. It's beautiful, and with this we'll close this idea. When Yisro heard about Kriyas Yamsuf, the splitting of the sea, he knew the world is getting ready for the things that were normally concealed to be revealed. That's displayed by Kriyas Yamsuf. He heard that event of Kriyas Yamsuf was that as much as things used to be in the past, now things are changing. And similarly, it's about ready for Hashem to be revealed in a material way, in a physical way in this world. That's why it says he heard about Kriyas Yamsuf. He heard about Kriyas Yamsuf, he's like, aha! The world is getting ready for this time. But then he heard Milchemes Amalek. He also heard that there was a war with Amalek. You know what that told him? That told him that the world wasn't entirely ready. Because even after Kriyas Yamsuf, Amalek still had the chutzpah, the gall, to attack the Yidden. So we weren't fully ready for that combination of lofty things and worldly things. Amalek was still there. Amalek was still creating friction. When he heard that, he heard about Kriyas Yamsuf, which means the world is getting ready for Matan Torah. But then he heard about the war with Amalek, which means that we still need to accomplish something more. That's when he packed his bags and went to the desert. Because he knew that his coming over to the desert is the extreme of bringing something so low and somebody being committed to something so high. And when he came, that's what the Zohar says. And now, when he said Baruch Hashem, the world was ready for Matan Torah. The world was ready for the perfect fusion of godliness and worldliness, of spiritual and of material. That event that happened this week in Parshas Yisro with Matan Torah, is an event that continues by us every single day. We say the bracha, Noisein HaTorah. Every day we say, we thank Hashem for giving us the Torah in the present, now. It's because every day it is our job to bring together ruchnius, spirituality, and gashmius, and physicality, bring it together. That was the vision that Hashem had from the beginning of time. And in Mirz Hashem, it will be us that will be able to see that vision come to its fruition, to completion, with the coming of Mashiach. And at that time, there won't be any friction. At that time, every material thing will express its godliness that's hidden within it. That being with the coming of Mashiach, may we merit that time. Bimheira v'yameinu amen. Good Shabbos.